Hello, it's Kevin here. Again, time for another video for OET Writing. Someone else in my group, Prepare OET on Telegram, links below if you're watching on YouTube. Some new member sent me a letter for nursing, so we'll take a look at that. There's quite a few things to talk about. Anyway, first things first, fair use disclaimer, because I don't know where these case notes are from. They're not from OET.com. As I keep saying, it's best to use original materials. There's plenty of them, plenty of OET.com case notes, because if you compare OET notes to different notes from different companies, groups, they're not the same. And you don't want to get used to something and then when you take the actual test it's completely different. So that's just something I would consider. Anyway, first things first, fair use, disclaimer, right, copyright, blah blah blah, okie doke, you know the score. Okay, so let's get these Casey notes. Kate Murray, I haven't seen these before actually, so we'll take a look. So what do we have to do? So as always, go to the task. So we're writing to the parents, a summary of the injury, any relevant information they may need for immediate care, future rehabilitation. Now, where are they? Parents could not be contacted. Okay, does that mean they're away out of the country? Because that seems kind of strange. Why would you write a letter to the parents? You would call them, or when they, when school ends, presumably they come to pick her up. So she's must be 7, yeah. 2008, 2015, so somebody must be coming up to pick her up after school, so I'm not sure why you would be wanting to write a letter, but okay, that aside. So she was taken to she was doing gymnastics after school and she broke a leg, and some staff member took her to the clinic. Emergency, pain and swelling in the leg, can't stand. X-ray showed a fracture to the tibia. Okie doke. That's okay. Crutches fitted and supplied on loan. Appointment scheduled for fiberglass cast. So 48 hours. Right, so the parents need to know this. And they need to know all this stuff. So there's quite a lot of stuff for the parents to be aware of. Well, okay, let's have a peep. Now, future caring with your daughter. Now, about the Miss Kate Murray. If you write, so first thing, I'm going to make this bigger. You don't need an article. Right, so just about the condition of. Now, if it's the parents, you don't have to give her a name and a full name and title, because presumably the parents would know their own daughter. So you don't need to say, I'd like to inform you about your daughter, Miss Kate Murray, just your daughter Kate. Now, right, in terms of age, if it's a kid, you don't usually give them a title. You don't say Mr. or Miss and give a family name. You usually just give a first name because it's a kid, right? So, you would just call her Kate. Okay, so I write to inform you, inform her about what? So I'm writing to inform you of the condition of your daughter Kate, following a broken leg while sustained at school and who requires immediate care, but surely she received the immediate care from you in the clinic. So why would you be telling them she requires immediate care? Presumably she's received this immediate care. So what you're in fact doing, this purpose, you want to inform the parents, first of all, that she had an accident and broke a leg. And secondly, you need to say something like, I'm right, this letter or the following outlines Kate's management and recovery plan, or something similar, yeah? So that's what you've got to do. Now, I'm not going to get the criteria out again for the umpteenth, 20,000th, millionth time, because I have to do it every video, it seems. It seems that lots of you don't bother reading OET Ultimate Writing Guide or reading the criteria or reading Benchmark EDU that go through all this stuff. So in terms of purpose, right, what you're doing is you're informing the parents that Kate had an accident, she broke a leg, and this letter, like it says in the RE, is the future care requirements. Okay, so as I said, she doesn't require immediate care because presumably she received it from you. Now, so make it Kate. Was presented. Why is it passive? Presented by whom? So now you can use presented because, right, usually when you go to a hospital, it's admitted, but she wasn't actually admitted to stay, so you can use presented. But you don't really need the passive, and you don't need name and title, just call her Kate. It's a kid. Would you call a 7-year-old Miss? No, you'd use their first name. So Kate presented with pain and swelling in the right lower leg. So you need to say something, right? So I probably wouldn't have put that about gymnastics after school in the purpose. You could just say broke a leg at school in an accident, and you can explain it kind of here. So Kate presented with pain and swelling in her right lower leg. Now, one thing I can see here, you see, let's look at these case notes. Now, like it says, don't use note form, expand them into complete sentences, right? So what you don't want to be doing is simply copy paste sentence 1, sentence 2. What else have we got? Given the back slab and had a bandage. Back slab and bandage applied. Okay, so you don't want to be using too many sentences like, so we've got 1 short sentence, 2, she was given the back and the bandage applied. Additionally, she was prescribed, she was fitted, she. So there's quite a lot of sentences here. For conciseness and clarity, you can join a lot of these sentences together. Now, because you didn't type this out, I can't correct it. If it were written or typed in Word, then I could make some changes and do some rewriting, but I'll just have to explain it to a picture, and you'll have to work it out for yourself. So, presented with pain in the right left leg, she was able to stand and was given a back slab and bandage, and so you don't need to say additionally, right? OET says you don't need to use these, long, lengthy discourse markers, additionally, therefore, subsequently, consequently. You can just put it in a single sentence, all right? But pain and swelling in the lower leg. Again, strictly speaking, you don't need to tell me she was unable to stand So you could just say, presented with pain and swelling in her leg, x-ray showed tibial fracture, for which she was given a back slab and a bandage and prescribed a Panadol, right? You could do that, a single sentence, right? So that's the conciseness and clarity part. You don't need to tell me all this, okay? Prescribed Panadol for pain, she was fitted with crutches as part of a plan of care at home. Right, so now you need to get used to differentiating your paragraphs. So you want one theme a paragraph. Okay, so you've got a purpose paragraph, you've got a history explaining the events, but the care part should be a separate paragraph. Okay, this is the organizational part, organization, which refers to the paragraphs within the letter and the sentences within the paragraphs. Okay, so I would break that up, because if you don't, that's one long meaty piece of text. You need to break it up. So put a space there, push that down as part of a plan of care at home. Do the first project. So yeah, please keep the limb elevated above the level of the heart with the use of pillows. When resting, to reduce swelling, encourage toe movement, and assist in gaining confidence with use of crutches. Kindly note and report symptoms immediately. Well, kindly note? Why would you note them kindly? Can you note them unkindly? So you want to report symptoms immediately, excessive swelling, blah, 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 loss of feeling, as well as inability to move the toes. Kate, please ensure Kate does not scratch under the cast. So you just say sharp objects. You don't have to say knitting needles, chopsticks, etc. It's copy and paste stuff. Right, now, if you copy and paste stuff too much, like if it's nearly word for word, they're going to notice that, right? If it's virtually word for word. That's why, is it virtually word for word? Excessive swelling of the toes, pinning, leaves, tingling, burning, numbness, inability to move the toes. You basically copied and pasted that word for word. That's not ideal. You need to paraphrase a little bit. Just say sharp objects. You don't need to include this level of detail. All right, that's not required. Please ensure Kate does not scratch under the cast with any sharp objects. Okay. Please make sure she does not wet cut, heat the casts, and avoid taking part in any active play or sport. Right, look, you're essentially copying this word for word. You can't really do that. What do you think the examiners are going to think if you simply write it word for word? They're not going to be happy, are they? Yeah. Some statistics of limb, she requires physiotherapy to prevent a sprain and with about no, she must not do. Is it likely that she's going to be doing gymnastics because she's got a cast on? I know. Recovery time 6 to 8 weeks. Skateboarding, horse. Again, you're simply copying and pasting all of the details, such as, all you have to do is say, avoid impact activities, or activities which may put an impact on the joint, or something, right? You don't have to go gymnastics, skateboarding, horse riding, or running, right? You don't have to put all that level of detail in. It's simply a copy and paste job. Yeah. So then you can put the schedule appointment at the bottom. We wish Miss Marie speedy recovery. That's not recommended for closing, you say something like, if you have any further questions, feel free to contact me at so-and-so, something such as that, right? That's the closing that you need, not we wish Miss Maria speedy recovery. So don't copy and paste, don't use all the detail. They put a lot of this stuff in on purpose, just says, sharp objects. There's no need to give me a list. I mean, as an adult, I understand what sharp objects are. You don't need to give me a list of what sharp objects are. Yeah, you don't really need that. Do you need to tell me anything about, do you need to tell me this as well, such as skateboard? How do we know that she skateboards or that she rides a horse? I mean, it's irrelevant. So keep this in mind, right? Don't be copy pasting. Think about how to summarize it, make it concise. What level of detail do you need? And if it's a kid, first names. Okay? Break it up, one theme, a paragraph. And make sure the opening and the closing are good, right? I'm writing to inform you of your daughter Kate's condition after suffering a fractured leg while at school. This letter contains care instructions and recommendations for her future rehabilitation, something such as that. Then at the closing, if you have any further questions regarding Kate's care or rehabilitation or the management plan, feel free to contact me at any time. So you need a good opening, the closing, which restates the purpose. Don't copy paste. Don't include all this irrelevant detail. Make it one theme, a paragraph. Okay? Right. Hope that helps.